Got everything, I got everything. It's a lot, never mind what I got. Don't watch that, cause it's all me.
I still swear that's one of my favorite songs. Shout out to my guy BJ Media, always taking care of all my transitions, intros, and stuff like that. And he sent me a whole bunch of new ones. Just haven't uploaded them yet because I've been lazy. Your boy Chili hanging out with you on another Tuesday. A lot of things that took place this weekend. I know that there's a Sevens event out there in Southern California. And I heard my man Will Menzel was absolutely cooking. Not the only place that he was cooking, though. Under Armour Camp came to town, and Will Menzel put on a show in his backyard, literally at his home at Chandler. You know who else put on a show? My man Jai Jones. There's an amazing article done by my guy Greg Biggins, who has committed to coming to Flight Club. We'll see if that's really true. But amazing article on Rivals that goes through like all the players that balled out at the Under Armour Phoenix Phoenix camp that took place at Chandler High. A lot of locals did their thing. Nua Stevenson from Mesa, defensive lineman. I thought Ben Lowther was amazing. My guy Julian Jenkins from Pinnacle. I'm gonna forget some names, and I'm gonna forget to mention some guys, some out-of-staters like Hayden Koo, an absolutely nasty wide receiver. And I got somebody that's gonna help me break some of this stuff down coming on in a second. So, my man Jai Jones. I think my man Jai Jones was probably had the best day, though. I got to show him some love and give him his flowers because sometimes I'm the only one that does that. But I got to show him some love for that. He really did his thing. Super proud of a lot of guys that did the combine work on Saturday and then showed up with the invite on Sunday because that's sometimes hard to do. But I just want to show some of those guys love. Also want to show love to the basketball guys because I know that the Open Division Championship and the other basketball crowns were given out for 6A, 5A, and so on down the list. So I want to show some love to those guys and especially that Sunny Slope team, which I think had an absolutely magical run this year. Me and Cam Cox are going to catch up with one of the stars from that team, Ryder Portella, on the Dropping Dime show that we do Thursday night. Check it out on the 12 Plus app. So I just want to put that out there. And then also I do got a super special guest coming up here in a second. One of the absolute legends in the game. I am so blessed to be able to have him hang out with me on a Tuesday night and cover some pretty much all things high school football and maybe a little bit of recruiting scoop for our ASU guys, our ASU audience. I know my man Hoda would appreciate that. So I think I'm going to do that coming up here in a second. My guy, the one and only, the absolute legend. We're going to get into some Huff stuff with Rivals own, newly Rivals own, Brandon Huff.
Being on some chill. Know yourself, know your worth. My actions being louder than my words.
See, Brandon, I'm trying not to get canceled. I'm showing love everywhere. Girls basketball, showing love to boys basketball. Football is always a topic. How are you doing, Brandon? What's going on? What's new besides your website address?
Yeah, I mean, it has been quite a couple weeks for me. And when I dive into something, I dive in all the way. I moved to Arizona in September, started a new job on March 1st. Same job, new company, and the Under Armour camp in that first week, getting those invites out for the next batch of camps. I mean, there is just no dull moment. So I'm finding myself waking up at like 4 a.m, working until about 11:30, going to catching a spring training game, coming back and doing a little bit more work. So it's a sweet little routine that I'm going to miss in like 2 weeks when the season starts.
And also you got to do all the stuff for your own foundation, the Avery Strong showcases, and you're still doing some 7-on-7 events, partnering up with people and things like that. Flight Club coming soon. So, what are some things like that we all have to look forward to and should be checking on the app?
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on. We've got, National Preps has got an event in Northern California this weekend. We've got the Polynesian Bowl Combine next weekend in Las Vegas. Conveniently, for like the fourth year in a row. The Poly Bowl Combine is the first weekend of the NCAA basketball tournament. So me and my guy, Greg Biggins and Blair Angulo, we get there early on Friday, watch some hoops, and then get over to Bishop Gorman High School for check-in. And then you get into April, you got the Under Armour camp in Southern California, the Under Armour camp in Salt Lake City. Official visits get started. Then we start building into the spring showcase. And, one of the things that I'm probably the most excited about being in Arizona is spring football is in May. And when you have showcases in May, coaches can come. When I was in Washington, they didn't start spring football till June. No coaches to be seen. So I've already seen some of the dates, some of the events. I mean, what a great concept that the Arizona high schools have. And I think a lot of schools in a lot of states are trying to catch on to a very similar idea.
Hey, listen, I got a question here. And before we dive into the specifics of who really balled out and who caught your eye out there at Chandler High School, Austin Field, this past Sunday and Saturday, one thing I do want to know is why? Why are these camps so important for these kids to get out to? Because there are so many coaches out there at power programs that are like, hey, Chili, why should I send my kid there? All you guys got to come here anyways. What from your perspective, being one of the legends that has done this for so many years, why is it important for kids to come out to these things, run a couple drills, compete one-on-ones?
Well, it's more than just the skill part of it. It's a speed, skill, strength, and size game. All right. And so those four attributes are going to be key when a coach is deciding if they're going to offer a player. And the Under Armour combines, the opening regionals, the Elite 11, you get all of those metrics measured. You get the speed metrics, whether it's the 40, the shuttle, the Elcone, you get the size, verified height and weight, hand size, wingspan. You get to see, just how strong they are in some of these reps. And then you get to see, their skill set. Every single rep at an Under Armour camp, everything. I'm talking about when they get measured, their height and weight, that's on video. They're doing the wingspan on video. They're doing functional movement. They're showing all the agility in the drills. Then it translates over into, each of the positional one-on-one. So literally you could spend 3 or 4 hours at a camp and have 30 to 40 reps going from the time you get measured till the last rep is taken. That's going into a portal on UC Report, which is the best scouting service that the spiel is great. Every year they give it. Every Power 4 school subscribes to it except Iowa. Well, what's been the one school that has struggled offensively for the last decade? Iowa. So there's kind of a correlation there, but this gives coaches a chance. I mean, we saw it, on Sunday afternoon, Julie. I mean, Landon Wade gets verified measurements. It gets tweeted out by UC Report that afternoon. And by that night, Miami, on the other side of the country with no coaches there, sees the verified measurements. They probably watched the video. They offer him. He gets an Ole Miss offer. Rashawn Lavatai, who was the offensive line MVP, had no Power 4 offers. Him. Yeah, no Power 4 offers going into Sunday afternoon. 3 on Monday because that verified height and weight, the skills. And so it's huge when college coaches aren't allowed on the road from January 31st until April 15th. It's huge during that time to see what your speed, your skill, your size, and your strength is.
All right. Hey, what were some of the key matchups out there that you felt like that you saw that you were like, ooh, man, I really saw something different from this kid?
Probably one of the most entertaining matchups on the day was it was a little bit of Arizona on Arizona. Yuen Tatefe from Chandler or from Brophy Prep on the offensive line going up against Anatoni Tahi from Basha High School. And, again, just a freshman, but he played in the FBU All-American game back in January or December down in Florida. Anatoni, who played, I think, just about every snap down the stretch, playing both sides of the ball for Basha, had some very spirited reps. And, it showed that he can hang, but that was one of the more fun ones. And what the great thing about this camp, and you said that you thought Jai was the top performer. We had him number 2. I always like to go with the big man in those because we see so much of the skill position players. And what Jai did on size was awesome. But I slightly lean towards Aiden Havili being the overall MVP just because I like the lineman. But it's a very 7-on-7 centric January to April. And the big boys don't get a lot of attention and a lot of love. And so one of the great things about this event is there's so many reps along the line. And so, getting to see that Basha Brophy matchup right off the bat, that was a fun one. Getting to see, I think what impressed me the most too about Jai was he did not take off reps. There's some guys that'll come to events and they want to walk around. They don't want to participate or they don't come at all. Jai was taking reps at receiver. He was taking reps at DB, and I talked
and killing.
And kill it. I mean, honestly, if he had just focused on one position, he may have been the top overall performer. But it was like you're getting whiplash bouncing around. Okay, what's he doing now? He's wearing a black shirt, running with the receivers wearing white shirts. So it was hard to keep track of him a lot of the day. But he competed, and I think that Travis Hunter. And no way am I comparing Jai to Travis Hunter. But what I'm saying is that Travis Hunter has now got a lot of elite two-way players thinking it's not impossible to play on both sides of the ball. And Jai was one of those rare guys who tried to do it at the camp and did it at a high level.
Yeah, no, for sure. Hey, listen, one of my favorite things, and I love giving the Arizona on Arizona competition some love, but I love when we get these Arizona versus some other state big matchups. The ones that caught my eye was Jalen Flowers and Jaden Baldwin. I thought that was a great matchup. I think Baldwin did his thing, ran the route, and I think Flowers got that one. And then also saw Jordan Hicks go with Jai Jones. Jordan Hicks playing DB, Jai Jones playing receiver, and Jai I think got that one. So I love seeing the high level competition. And Jaden came back after his rep with Flowers. He's like, "Hey, we're running that one back again. I'm gonna get him." So
yeah, and in fact, Jordan Hicks probably had the play of the entire day with his one-handed interception where he kind of with his front hand scooped it away. And I mean, it was one of those that it looks like in real time, it looks like he's just going to break it up, but then he scooped it and tucked it all with one hand. I mean, very impressive day. And I think that that's what I love about this event is that, like you said, you get guys from California, you get guys from Washington that are coming, you get the Arizona guys who represented on their home field. I mean, it's no coincidence that the number 2 player on the day by Rivals.com plays at Chandler High School. The best quarterback on the day plays at Chandler High School. Those guys felt like they had, something to prove being on their home turf. And then, the running back MVP from Basha High School in Chandler, Noah Roberts. I mean, let's talk about what he did that day. I mean,
man, he was special.
He was of all the position groups, he was the easiest MVP to decide. And I thought, because of how big he is, he ran well, he tested well, he went through all the drills, he did track on Friday. And again, for a guy like Noah, who's got offers from all over the country, for a guy like Will Menzel, Jai Jones, there's no necessarily reason to go when you have all those offers. That's the thinking of a lot of guys in a lot of parts of the country. I got all the offers. Why do I need to go? Well, because you're a competitor, right? If you love football, get out there and compete. And the high injury risk is not as high as you say it, but football's an injury game waiting to happen. All right, but you still got to play. And I love the fact that Noah came out there and competed like he did. And the camp setting isn't always the best for running backs and linebackers. I mean, linebackers are covering running backs in the passing game. There's not as much cat and mouse.
A little unrealistic
there.
But
yeah, but he came and he did well. And then one more shout out, Bryson Wilkinson. Coach Eddie Zuby,
phenomenal.
We had a couple linebacker spots open. He hit me up and said, "Hey, I got a guy. Just trust me on this one. Let's see if we can get him in at linebacker." He comes in at linebacker, wins the MVP. Jeremiah Grimes. He had to earn his way, and he's overshadowed a lot by his team, by his teammates. Yeah. And he comes in on Saturday, does the whole combine, earns his way, and then gets the MVP on Sunday. So again, I love the fact that the local kids came and they felt like they had something to prove. It had been 5 years since the last time there was an Under Armour camp in the state of Arizona. And with the showing like that, with the performance like a lot of those guys have, hopefully it becomes a yearly thing.
Hey, you brought it up. I want to talk about this a little bit. That quarterback group at the top, It was I felt like it was very, very top heavy. A lot of super talented kids, some of the out-of-state guys. So seeing Will Menzel rise to the top in a very, very hungry and competitive group with Sione and Heward, even some of the young guys, even some of the guys from out here, Dane Silver, Escobedo, trying to, find their place, figure out where they stand on this pantheon of quarterbacks. I thought was incredible for Will to come throw with the running backs and still continue through his session and really show everybody like, hey, I'm the alpha. I'm going to eat the competition and let everybody know where I belong. So shout out to Will Menzel for doing that job.
And keep in mind too, Julie, we're in an era where 3 years ago, the number 1 overall player in the country per, the industry didn't go to any camps except for the one that his 2 uncles threw in the state of Louisiana. He avoided events. Will, I'm not saying any names, but if you know who the uncles are, the name will be spoken for you. Will was in Indianapolis a week ago for the Elite 11, and then was back
and the opening.
And the opening. That's right. He was at the opening 2 weeks before that. So, or the night. I'm sorry, the night before that,
Right.
And then comes back on Sunday, throws extra with the running backs. It was a very, especially the 2028 group. But one guy who, this is the third time I've seen him at a camp. He was, I think, besides Will, the only other senior that came through with the running backs was Cale Snyder. And Cale had to love the fact that this camp was finally in Arizona, because the last 2 years he's been at the Salt Lake City camp and would come and throw early. And, it was easy for Will and Cale to get overlooked a little bit because of how good that 2028 group of quarterbacks were, whether it was out-of-state guys coming into town, whether it was the local Arizona kids coming in. I thought Titus Hill had a really good day. And so at a lot of these camps, where you have a cap at a position, you want to make sure that those 24, 25 quarterbacks look good. And I mean, the receivers got plenty of reps, but those quarterbacks were throwing some beautiful balls on Sunday.
Yeah, man. Luke was out there. Cale, you mentioned, was out there, and I thought Cale had one of his better camps that I've seen. In I think he's been solid overall, and he's a kid that, like, he's had to deal with like some offensive issues or whatever at Perry, but I've really compared him to like Devin Brown. I think Devin Brown went through some stagnant offenses here in Arizona and then made the jump to Corner Canyon, and he throws 50 touchdowns. I think that's the type of player that Cale is. Once he gets into the right offense, it's just going to work, and he's going to be a 50 touchdown guy, just given the opportunity. I think Farrell is going to be absolutely special, and Hill over there at Centennial.
What a big arm!
Be a problem. Yes.
What a big arm he had. And I saw him at a 7-on-7 tournament. You and I were both at Battle in Vegas about a month ago, getting to see him out there. But, in this setting where it does, and you've been to enough Under Armour camps and Elite 11s to know that it starts to become a competition, like, hey, let's see who can throw this ball the hardest and the furthest. But it looked very natural for him. Some guys, it's like they're throwing the shot put. They're winding up, doing as much, razzle dazzle. They're throwing the discus. They got to do all this spinny moving to throw the ball. His was a very natural release, and that's a great pickup for UNLV. Before people think like, hey, well, he's only good enough to go to UNLV. Keep in mind that the head coach at UNLV, he knows a thing or two about developing quarterbacks. And if I'm Luke, and I say this because my own high school coach, he was the offensive coordinator as a high school. He was the head coach now. His son signed with UNLV in the 2026 class, Derek Garcia. And a big reason for that was because the development that Dan Mullen, his track record. So if I'm Luke, I got to be excited about the fact that, I'm going to go get a play for a guy who's coached a #1 overall draft pick, a Heisman Trophy winner, and a starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, who are all three different guys. That's a pretty good coach to get to develop your career under.
Yeah, solid resume. You can't go bad with Mullen.
No.
And he loves it there. It seems like I'm not going to say he's going to retire there if something else opens up better, bigger, or whatever, but he seems really content there at UNLV. So like he might be there for the short haul. I'll call it the short haul, because he might be there for another 3 seasons, get them over the hump and into some of these conversations. And if Luke's there and the guy that gets him through over there, I think that's going to be an incredible look for him. Some of the other guys though that I wanted to talk about briefly outside of the Giants, the Makai Nelsons that are jumping on the scene, bursting on the scene. Your thought on some of these other receivers from the state of Arizona that are putting in the work and climbing the charts?
Yeah, and that's why this camp is so great, right? It's because you get the guys that are kind of the known names, but then it gives the opportunity for some of the other guys that maybe aren't getting the attention from a recruiting standpoint that some of the other guys that are a little bit more known quantities are getting. And I think, you get a guy like Makai Nelson who gets lost in the shuffle at times. I think this was a great opportunity for him to really put himself on the map. Miles Woods is another guy out of Maryvale.
From Maryvale.
Yeah, it was like every time I looked up, it felt like he was taking a rep in the far right-hand side that was coming to the west side of the stadium. And I mean, I'm like, dude, this guy is not wasting any opportunity. And I thought he, had a really good day as well as a receiver. And that's the thing what's so important at an event like this too, is that you take advantage of a really good quarterback group. This gives you the opportunity. You're going to have the opportunity to get the ball thrown to you by some really good passers. And you want to take this opportunity. You know, a guy like Jaden Baldwin, who is another one of those known names, but maybe he's overshadowed at times by some of the other receivers in the city of Chandler, by some of the other receivers that the state of Arizona has produced. And I thought that, you know, he acquitted himself really nicely. James Klopfenstein, another kid who from Horizon, a kid that, you know, I remember his brother, Matt, who's now at Baylor as a tight end, just, you know, was an absolute monster on the 7-on-7 circuit a few years ago at the AZ Dolphins. And James, you know, not as big as his dad, but, you know, his dad, not as big as his brother, but, you know, shows more burst. Darrell Little, another kid who's at, I think, Thunderbird High School. So, again, not quite on that high level from a classification level, but he showed that he's a good dude. He's a dude. And so, this receiver group, Isaac Massey is another one that comes to mind out of
from ALA Gilbert North.
Very, very smooth. Such a smooth route run. I think he's got an Ivy League offer. There's no doubt in my mind that at minimum he's a Big Sky level player. And if you go look at one conference that has produced more FBS transfers from the FCS, it's the Big Sky. It's the best conference in college football in the FCS level. Home of the national champions, Montana State. If I'm a Big Sky school, Isaac Massey's a guy that I'm jumping all over right now.
Hey, man, you know, I got to know Kingston Anatema, who did walk away with the receiver MVP award. You know, how much did he show you? I know you did get a chance to see him work a little bit last season, because I believe you were at that Centennial Thriller, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, how surprised were you, or whatever? Your thoughts, Kingston Anatema from Mesa?
Yeah, I mean, you know, with Kingston, he's a kid that I've actually been watching since he was in 8th grade, played for the Pink Outlaws on the 7-on-7 circuit. Then early on, then he was playing with Team Toa. You know, his brother, the quarterback there at Mesa High School with him, who was hurt. Boogie. So with Boogie out, you know, Kingston, you know, had a chance. And again, another one of those guys that, you know, he's a 3-star guy coming in. He's got some offers, but I think really getting that opportunity to show what he can do and how well he can run, I think that's all important, in that, you know, he could show that, you know, he can run routes. He can catch the ball. He's got strong hands. He's going up against a good defensive back group. And I would say that he was another one of those players that, you know, maybe if Jai Jones just did receiver, he probably walks away with the MVP award, but, you know, probably cost himself the MVP on both positions because he was flip-flopping around. But I thought Kingston had a great day, and I know that both receivers coaches, in fact, one of the receivers coaches at the event is a receivers coach at Chandler High School, and he's Jai's 7-on-7 coach, and he still went with Kingston as his top receiver. And I thought that was a big day. And you see 2 days later, he gets an offer from Boise State. He's the kind of player that Boise State is consistently winning their Mountain West, and they're going to be an instant threat to win the Pac-12 and be a playoff team because of the evaluation and offers like that.
Hey, before we wrap up the Under Armour event talk, 2 guys that I do want to bring up, Gunnar Perry, the linebacker, the Cal commit, put in some work out there. And then also Jaylee Abraham, the kid from Tucson, looked absolutely special. He's balling. He's absolutely balling, doing some stuff with Tucson Turf. Your thoughts over there?
You know, Gunnar obviously is going to be, and I mentioned earlier with James and Matt Klopfenstein, and Gunnar's obviously going to be compared to Cooper, but they're 2 different players. You know, Cooper's an offensive guy, he's a defensive guy, and a little bit, obviously, he's not as long as his brother was, maybe not as fast, but for being more well put together than Cooper ever was, he ran really well. And I think that was the thing that impressed me the most about him, is how well he moves. He's very agile, moves really well in space, you know, can be that true sideline to sideline type of guy. And here's the thing, you know, with Cal, obviously his brother transferred there from Oregon. That staff, you know, is big on defensive skill set and defensive speed. Tosh Lapointe, everywhere he has been as a defensive coordinator or as an assistant coach, they've had fast defenses, whether that was when he was at Cal the first time, when he was at University of Washington as a D-line coach, when he was the defensive coordinator at Alabama, when he was the DC at Oregon. You know, they don't necessarily need to be the 6'3", 230-pound guy who's lumbering and can't really move around. He needs guys that have the speed to be a true sideline to sideline linebacker in be a 3-down backer. And while Gunnar might not be the biggest guy in the world, I think he's like 6 foot, 215. He can be a 3-down backer because of that quickness, because of that agility, and he can be the guy that's covering a slot. He can cover a tight end in space. And I think that obviously probably going up against his brother for times, growing up has shown that, he's got to be able to cover. And then Jaylee Abraham, and another guy that maybe not the biggest guy in the world, but such a tough runner. When you watch him on film, you just see,
for sure.
Again, I hate playing the competition game because, it's unfair when you try to compare a guy to somebody because of how they're built. And by no means am I trying to say that he's Maurice Jones-Drew, but he's got a very similar build to Maurice Jones-Drew. You know, Maurice was 5'8" on a good day, if he was lucky, standing in brand new cleats, but played at about, 190, 195 in high school, got to college. He was in the 215 range, got to the NFL. And Jaylee's got that thick frame that with his short and compact size, he does not hesitate to run through you. Usually when you see little backs like that, or smaller backs, I don't want to call him little because he's rock solid. Smaller backs like that sometimes want to just bounce everything outside. They want to get away from the contact. But Jaylee's the kind of guy that he doesn't want to run around you when he can run through you. But then he could show that ability to get out into the open field and turn it on. Really good pass catcher out of the backfield. I would say that probably had the second, third best day at worst at the running back position behind Noah Roberts. I also like the running back from Millennium High School, Damari Bryant as well.
Oh, Damari Bryant looks great.
Yeah, which should tell you a lot about the state in the next couple of years, where a top 3, top 2 running back in the NFL right now calls the state of Arizona home. It's a state that it's kind of known for being a pass happy state with good quarterbacks, with good receivers. Yeah. But there's a good little running back group in the 27 to 28 class, and I thought all 3 of those guys did a really good job kind of showing what they could do on Sunday.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, we're going to wrap up the Under Armour talk a little bit. And one thing I will show love to the Under Armour camp is it is the only thing that's been able to bring the killer bees of the recruiting analyst game out here all at once with Brandon, my guy Biggins. And even though he's on the other team, I'm never going to not show Blair love. Blair has done so much in the state of Arizona, 24/7, if you will. So I'm always grateful. But there is another event that is going to bring that Killer Bee team out here. It is called Flight Club, June 27th. Hey, I will have Brandon, Biggins, and Blair all out there working and checking out all the players in the state of Arizona that are competing. And they will all be coming off the Nike opening finals that is going to be in Oregon. So they're going to have all their free cool Nike gear, and they're going to be out there showing love. But Brandon, before I let you leave, we got to talk about some Arizona State recruiting stuff that might have taken place this weekend. I know that Heward was out here, and I know he recently got an offer, and I know that Xavier Berry was seen around hanging out. Your thoughts on everything Arizona State recruiting that you know of, and please show no bias. Please show no bias.
No, and there's no need to show any bias at all, because I thought Arizona State did a really good job of utilizing this weekend to host guys from out of state. And, you get a Xavier Berry to come to campus, a guy who I've compared at the same stage. Having watched Josh Connerly when he was a freshman in high school, ended up being a first-round draft pick and All-American at Oregon. Xavier Berry reminds me a ton of Josh Connerly at the same grade. Specifically came down, talked to his trainer, Reggie Jones, who runs Air Football, and Xavier came down a day early per ASU's request because they wanted to get him to campus and offer him in person. So they got him. They got 2 of their top 2028 quarterback targets, both on campus, Luke Rubley and Titus Heward. They offered Titus on the visit. They had already offered Luke in January. Marcus Roy had gone to see him throw. So Kenny Dillingham, Marcus Roy met with both those quarterbacks, and both were part of that very, very good 2028 group of quarterbacks that were there. You also had Kitiwana Tupau, who's a 2029 defensive lineman from Puyallup, who was probably a top 5 defensive performer on the defensive line. He took a visit to campus over the weekend. Quite a few of the linemen from the state of Colorado came in and did an unofficial visit. So ASU, YZ, Arizona as well, they had some guys come down and visit on Saturday that were in the state from out of state. And so I think that's big. One thing with Arizona State is that having the opportunity with so many events in the Phoenix area, it gives them the opportunity to have guys come into campus, and they wisely take it up. I've been in states where, I'm familiar with schools in states that there's a plethora of events, and the coaches are like, yeah, we don't really want all these guys coming to campus. That's just a lot of work. Some of these guys we're never going to recruit. I by no means will I mention that the guy's name rhymes with Chip Kelly, but UCLA, I'm sorry, I don't want to mention the school or the name, but they were in a epicenter of events, and that was too much work. And so Kenny Dillingham is the exact opposite of Chip, where you had to have a cup of coffee to listen to him and deal with him. Kenny, you need to have something that's going to calm you down after being around Kenny, and that energy is active. But Brent Brennan, he's in the chat as well. Not the actual literal chat, but he's in the chat. And as Arizona coaches are doing,
he might be in the chat because I got Huffman on here, so he might be in the chat.
Brent Brennan is another original G, and that staff, with Andrew Morgan there now. I think
my guy.
The product that Arizona high school himself, and I think that's what's smart about U of A and ASU is that with all these events in January, March, and April, they have those doors wide open, letting guys come to campus. But ASU, a lot of good buzz coming out of them for the weekend with some of their in-state guys that are planning to take official visits. Benjamin Lothar is one of those key visitors. Ty Kennedy said he's working on locking that date in. Jai Jones as well. And then Noah Roberts said ASU has been ramping up their recruitment of him in recent weeks. He's about to take a national tour of schools, but that hometown school. And then the big one for me was they offered Anatoni Tahi last week. I'm not quite putting in that prediction yet. We don't call them crystal balls over at Rivals anymore. There's a RPM prediction, but I'm leaning heavily towards putting in a prediction for the Sun Devils to get him.
Sheesh, that's big. That's a scoopy scoop and a half. All right, man. Look, man, Brandon, I really appreciate you jumping on, hanging out. We got to do this some more. We definitely got to do this some more.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking at least once a month. I'm thinking at least once a month. I got Biggins to commit to, so. And then after we poach Blair, then
if you got Greg and we get Blair, I'll gladly be the Chris Bosh to Dwayne Wade and LeBron James with those two.
Oh man, that'll be a lot of fun. I'll be Chalmers and I'll just kind of try to direct the offense and get yelled at by everybody. Yeah. Hey, Brandon, I really appreciate you. I know that you gotta get to work and make sure that some of these guys get stars. My guy Jake Rogers being one of them. So I'm gonna let you get up out of here, and I appreciate you so much. I'll catch you down the line. All right.
Appreciate you.
Unprepared, but I do got my guy. Oh, there's Brandon still hanging out. Brandon,
I'm out of here. I was waiting.
Okay, we're gonna cut Brandon off. Sure. Hey, we got my.
I thought he was gonna take over my segment too.
That would have been something. All right, hey, Gridiron. Yeah, just had Brandon Huffman on hanging
big
out.
Big time there. Get the national guy in there with all the local stuff going on.
Trying to ramp things up a little bit. Beetle, I had to replace Beetlejuice because Beetlejuice is out there in Mexico getting litty.
He's on spring break. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got to let him live a little bit. Hey, I hope that we have the right graphic for this week because
I hope so.
K Visuals is out in Japan. He's out there in Japan with Jacob Cowing and Ricky Pearsall, I believe. Some Arizona guys. And
what are they doing in Japan?
He's videographing a bunch of stuff, doing the Mario Kart thing through the city or whatever. Riding the bullet train. And buying some Japanese like streetwear, some whatever, all the cool stuff that I try to wear sometimes. But they're out there hanging out, having fun, seeing the sights. I believe they went to a like baseball game or something like that. So maybe I'll have to bring K Visuals on the show sometime and chop it up and talk to him about it. But we do got a loaded segment because we are still covering multi-sport winter guys. That did multi-sports in the winter, multiple sports. They did basketball,
one of them
wrestling,
was
soccer, one of those things. Most of them are like basketball wrestling guys. So we are going to bring up this graphic, and I swear I hope I didn't mess this up. I think I gave you the right one. I'm not sure if I gave you the right one or gave K Visuals the wrong one. Hopefully I gave you guys the same one because otherwise it's gonna make this super awkward. All right.
This is right.
Okay. Inside the numbers, multi-sport football players for the winter. Ben Franklin had a bunch of guys, and they had so many guys that we might cover some of them next week. Preston Gomez, wrestling. Talon Spear, who is an absolutely phenomenal kid who I got to see on the basketball court, and that was a treat. Bram Green in wrestling. Jackson Ellis in wrestling. Seton, they had their quarterback play some basketball, trying to do the Charlie Ward thing. Ethan Rooney, a wrestler. Highland, Dominic Kaut, a wrestler. Kingston Soares, a wrestler. Grady Crandall, Max Brown, some hoopers that were athletes, wide receiver DB variety. And then Castile, a linebacker, Jackson Hamilton also took up wrestling. And then Maryvale, one of their defensive linemen, Tariq Hanna, did some wrestling in the winter. Gridiron, I'm going to let you pick some of your favorites and let you break down some numbers and tell us some of the accomplishments. Go ahead, Gridiron, take it away.
Yeah, we'll take a look at some of these guys. We'll take a look at one from each school. We got Talon Spear starting out with Benjamin Franklin. Football and basketball, he's a senior, 6'1", 175. 2 years varsity football, 4 years varsity basketball, and a 3-year captain. And he's in his 4th year of varsity baseball right now as well.
We'll talk about him in the spring.
Basketball, he's was the 3A conference defensive player of the year this season. He averaged 13 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Had a game against ALA Ironwood, had 21 points, 3 of 8 on threes, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, in a 59-54 win. He's the school's all-time leader in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. So filling up that stat sheet and filling up the record books over there for Ben Franklin. In football, he played both wide receiver and cornerback. Had 67 catches last season for 1,336 yards, 16 touchdowns, plus 39 tackles and 5 interceptions on defense. Has football offers from Bethel, Tennessee, Dakota State, Lake Forest, Ottawa, and Rocky Mountain, but hasn't committed anywhere yet. And he might be the best 3-sport athlete in the state. Last year in baseball, he batted .485, and he was the player of the year for the 3A Metro region. And in addition to batting .485, he also pitches, because why not? 3-0 with a 1.58 ERA. 6 walks and 57 strikeouts last season.
She's like Shohei Ohtani. He's doing it all.
Yeah, but
my guy is doing it all.
Shohei didn't play 2 other sports and do that.
Yo, I heard that Shohei could play basketball.
Oh, he probably can.
I can't play no football.
I wouldn't put it back. He's tall.
3'4", something like that. Sheesh. Talon Spear, Shohei Ohtani, it's like the same. It's like same. Okay.
Then we got Grady Crandall from Highland, football and basketball. He's a senior, 6'3", 185, 3-year varsity football player, 3 years varsity basketball. He also ran track last year. Basketball averaged 10.5 points per game this year, 4 rebounds, 1.6 steals, made 44 threes, and had 688 points in his career with Highland. Had a game this year against Higley. 21 points on 4 of 10 shooting from threes, 3 rebounds, 3 steals, and a 71-62 win. In football, he plays safety. Was the 6A East Valley Region first team recipient from the DBs. 80 tackles, 60 solo, and 3 interceptions. Hasn't had an offer from Augustana, South Dakota, but has not committed anywhere yet.
Man, them Highland boys, they got some dogs over there. So I love Grady Crandall, I love Max Brown, I loved watching them work. So they always have some dudes, and then in the trenches they're always doing their thing. So just like what I see from Highland and Coach Farrell and that staff.
Then we'll pop back up to Seton Catholic there. Ethan Rooney, football and wrestling, is a sophomore, 5'8", 160. Had 13 tackles in 3 varsity games last season, 2 for a loss. Wrestling, he's wrestled since 2017. When I went back and found some stats.
Wow. Okay.
I was trying to do the math to figure out how old that way. It would have made him like 7 years old when he was wrestling. But his record last year was 29-6, and he made quarterfinals at state as a sophomore. So more to come, I'm sure, there from Ethan in the next 2 years, both in football and wrestling. Jackson Hamilton from Castile, football and wrestling. He's a senior, 6'2", 195, plays linebacker. Last season had 105 tackles and 3 sacks, was a first-team All-6A Southeast region. He was also the Castile Male Athlete of the Year for both football and wrestling. And in wrestling, he was a state runner-up in both his junior and senior years.
Okay. Hey, he's a stud, and part of what led them to that championship. So, shout out to Hamilton, Jackson Hamilton. Not to be confused with the Hamilton Huskies. So, I want to make sure that we're clear.
But Castile's
Don't
going
want to get in
to
trouble.
be bidding for that Open this year. Try to get a shot at Hamilton there in the Open, because
Yeah, man.
when you win the 6A, that's kind of what the goal has to be, and that's kind of what it sounds like. The coaching staff has set out there at Castile for what they want to do. They're not going to be. They don't want a repeat of the 6A. They want to move up and get to the next level there and make the Open. I guess stay in the Open, because they were in that play-in game last season, of course, and they do play Hamilton this season. By the way, they play week 4, Castile at Hamilton. Castile will also have a Thursday nighter to begin the season against Red Mountain. So a couple big tests there, and then the week after Hamilton they have Centennial. So a little rematch of the 6A game there in week 5. Then when they get to region play, they'll have ALA Queen Creek in there. So certainly some big time opponents for the Colts this year.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. I think that Bushman definitely got that program going in the right direction. He had some guys out there at Under Armour, Simeon Sykes, who I think is going to be absolutely special. T. Smith, I believe, was out there, and there was one other kid from Castile. I can't remember who, but I let you continue.
No, that's all I had.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, all right. I wasn't sure because you said one from each school. So I just wanted to make sure.
I did Hamilton from Castile. That was the last one I had. I did 4. So you're right. I ran out of time for Maryvale there. For their wrestler there, the defensive tackle you mentioned.
The Carter brothers are going to be upset, feel like you did them bad, but he knows you love them. He knows you love them. So maybe a gridiron appearance.
Do you know what year he is?
Game would be nice. I want to say that he is a young guy.
Okay.
Why do I feel like he's like a sophomore? I'm not sure.
He's got more to come. That Maryvale team was loaded with a lot of guys that'll be coming back.
I want to say he's a young guy. I'm actually going to check right now to make sure that I got that right, because I don't want to do him bad, like gridiron. So nope, I'm lying. He's a 2027. So he's a young guy, but he'll be back.
Yeah.
So gridiron will make it up. Gridiron will make it up to Tariq Hanna and Maryvale. Got him covered. Don't worry. You're covered. Hey, Miles Woods is probably going to play basketball next year, and so we'll be covering Tariq and Miles next year, and gridiron will pass on Miles and show Tariq the love.
Right.
There we go. We settled this
love the Tariq there. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to. We're always going to take care of the kids. All right, hey, gridiron. Getting to see the Under Armour camp. I know that you didn't go, obviously, because you don't cover stuff like that. But just being able to see it all on your timeline, in your backyard, in the home state, cool, right?
So was that at Chandler? Is that what you were saying?
Yes. Okay. Austin Field.
I know Jai Jones's house. Adam was out there. BJ was out there.
Yeah. At Jai Jones and Will Mensel's house.
What's that?
At Jai Jones and Will Mensel's house. So.
Yeah, that's right. Their backyard. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
and I think Will got the quarterback award, if I remember correctly.
He did. He got MVP. And weirdly, I mean, Brandon said it, so it's not no secret. It's also online. Jai Jones was second best player at the camp and didn't get an award. I thought that was weird, but not a big deal. I mean, those mysteries.
He was playing both ways.
Going both ways.
So I wonder if that means that I wonder which one they had him compete, because they usually pick a guy from each position.
Yeah,
so how that worked.
Maybe they should have made an exception and said, hey,
He said Noah Roberts showed out there.
Went crazy.
Up running back. That's good to see. Yeah.
Went crazy. Look good. He looked good. A lot of our guys look good, and they all got a lot of our guys got opportunities to compete with some of these out-of-staters who sometimes overshadow them because they're from Cali or because they're from this place or that place or whatever. So it was just good seeing these guys be able to get this competition and work in. Gridiron, we are going to stay with the multi-sport stuff moving to next week and stuff, and then I think we're going to do one more week of winter sports, and then I think we're going to do 2 weeks of
the spring sports, because then we'll have a little bit more time for the spring sports guys to give us some numbers and stuff. And so they've obviously started. They're a couple weeks into the season.
All right, and then some schedules. I've been tagged in a few schedules, so we're gonna have to make sure to show some.
That'll
love.
Probably be April. We'll launch the schedules. I still got to go through last year's and see how we ended up.
Should we start in April? Can we Can we
That's when we
start in April? And did we start last year in April?
Yeah, we started in April last year.
Okay.
Just
We'll
curious
definitely
if we had. Curious if we did Castile last year.
Hey.
We did. We did not do Castile last year. So
Well, we'll have to show love this year. What's it called? Your sons are doing a thing, and they've
before we talk
last
about
year.
the Suns, did you hear what Bam Adebayo did tonight?
No,
He scored 83 points tonight.
stop it.
He had 31 in the first
really
quarter
good.
for the Miami Heat. They defeat Washington. I think they won by about 21 points, and he scored 83 points tonight. I got to find that line again here. It was 36 for 43 from the free throw line, and he was 20 of 43 from the field. 7 of those were threes. So he scored 83 points tonight. But the Suns win tonight. They defeat Milwaukee. They had that win over the Hornets there. They finished the homestand last Sunday, so they're getting it going again. Your Knicks could have helped us out there on Sunday. They couldn't get it done against the Lakers. That was an awful performance with
By
no
design,
LeBron.
by
No
design.
LeBron playing for the Lakers either, by the way, in that one. So
That's crazy because like when LeBron's not playing, like I think it's Luka and Reeves have like a plus like 23 plus minus, and when LeBron's playing with them, they're like minus 19 or something. I had somebody tell me those stats or whatever. Look, man, the Bucks are trash, and they should trade Giannis to the Knicks immediately. So I'm just
well, they didn't. I thought they were going to deal him with the trade deadline, but they did not.
It'd be nice.
So I guess that's going to be a summertime project for them.
Well, hopefully they deal him to the New York Knicks, because I would love to see Giannis with Brunson and some of those guys just going to work. It'd be nice. It'd be nice. All right, Gridiron. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. You've always held us down. And we got another season of manual scoreboards, another season of Inside the Numbers Flight Club guy. So we always appreciate.
Do we have a date for Flight Club yet?
June 27th.
Okay. The reason I was asking is because I saw Chaparral today put out their schedule for what events they're doing, what weekends and stuff, and I was assuming you had a date for it, but I didn't think it'd been yet. So there you go.
It hasn't been publicly like announced other than the show. Like so, I've had everybody inquire. And,
this is pretty public.
I mean, sometimes sometimes it is. Sometimes it's our own little forum. But what's it called? I think we're at 26 teams right now. So it's not going to be too difficult to.
Same place, or you can go somewhere else?
No, we are moving. We are moving.
On the move.
I said my thank you to Maricopa. I'm grateful for.
I remember last year. Yeah, I wasn't sure if. Do you have a site, or are you still working on it?
Flight Club, Varsity Flight Club has a site locked in. Girls Flight Club is close to a proper site to have locked in.
Is that going to be the Friday again?
It's going to be on Friday. It might be by your house.
Really? That'd be nice.
It might be closer. Closer.
Pop in.
I don't want to say by your house, but closer.
It can't be further away than Maricopa was.
Yeah, closer. Well, it was at Corona del Sol, about halfway.
I know. No. I was just talking about the distance from my house.
The girls are still asking, when are we going to get a Gridiron appearance? So I'm like, hey guys, listen, that costs extra. I gotta try to make that thing work. And then Rising Stars will be on Monday. Rising Stars will most likely
is that going to be a play-in for a couple of spots?
I don't think so, but I may hold one spot open
because I love that
the Rising Stars champion
gets in, because I think last year a couple got in from that.
Well, this one will have its actual own pool play and tournament and bracket play, which hasn't really been done on my Rising Stars day. So we'll see how this whole thing works out. But on a Monday Night Football, I believe it's going to be a
Monday Night Football. You're doing pool play and stuff,
I believe it's going to be Monday Night Football. We'll see. Man, last year the girls went till like midnight, and they were like
Stars after dark
thrilled about it. Sheesh, it's going to be crazy. Going to be breaking curfews to get them their championship. I'm not sure what the trophy is going to look like, but I promise I'm going to get a cool Rising Stars championship trophy that is exclusive for my Rising Stars tournament. It's not going to be one of those paperweight weird trophies or plaques or anything like that. Just like I gave my boys the hefty belt.
Right.
We're going to be serious about. Listen, I take the thing serious. It's not a money grab. I want to make sure that everything that comes in goes back out. I take care of all sorts of athletes. Obviously I have to pay the refs and things like that, and facility fees and all that stuff. But and then I have to feed Gridiron. So that's also a big chunk. Is making sure that Gridiron eats and all that. Because it's a long day. It's a long day. And Gridiron, I've also been told you don't have. I know, but you're not supposed to. We have the vouchers for you, and yours never gets used. So you have to. Yours is always the one that's still there. So I have vouchers the last 3 years.
There you go. I had no idea.
So that I told you last year. I was like, hey, make sure you talk to Christine about food, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, I got it. I got to go watch this game. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
I just got to do your thing. Go find some food, man.
All right. Hey, Gridiron, I appreciate you so much. Men, like I say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Gridiron always holding down the community. Day one OG, even before me. So there's that. And Gridiron, I'll catch up with you next weekend. We're going to talk about some more multi-sport athletes and things of the sort. And I do got to get some travel tips from you coming up soon here, because I'm going to go to a place, and I think you're one of the few that can help me out. All right? All right, my man. You take care.
All right, we'll see you.
Last time that I checked, it was 5 chains on my neck. Been saying I'm a killer. Look, playing no games with you.
I wasn't sure if I took Gridiron off the stage yet, but I made that mistake with Brandon. Brandon's first time on the show, and I'm already, making some mistakes. It's all good. Your boy Chili, I'm gonna make my way out of here. At Just Chili, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Holler at your guy. Any questions or whatever? Just want me to repost your highlights. I'm gonna take care of you. There's a billion kids that were at the Under Armour camp that I want to mention that might not have gotten mentioned, but I saw as many of you guys as I could. I promise. And I know a lot of you guys put in that work. My guy Jalen Fitzgerald also was out there looking great at tight end. I saw him catching passes at Elite 11 for the All 22 portion. I don't know if they call it that anymore, but where some of the high-rated receivers out there in the country are catching passes and things like that. Jalen looked absolutely special this past weekend, so I want to show him some love there. Other than that, Talon Scott. Oh my God. I almost let this thing shut down Under Armour recap and didn't mention the work that Talon Scott put in. He looked phenomenal. One of the few multi-dimensional athletes that I try to show love to consistently. Has been killing it offensively for ALA Queen Creek, for Tucson Turf in these camps. And I love him on defense. I think that he's such a gift. I can't wait to see him perform and do his thing. Other than that, your boy Chili, I'm gonna get up out of here. I appreciate everybody. I really hope that Bobby Hurley keeps his job. If anybody's got the Scooby Scoop on that besides Pete and Akos and stuff, holler at your boy. Also, shout out to Devil's Digest, always taking care of their guys. Speaking of which, Recruit ID, if I don't show them love, I'm not doing the right thing. And AALL.net, my guy Papa Hiniosa has always carried me through the process for a long time. Good mentor, so I want to show love there. Other than that, Forks Up forever. Y'all know the deal.
Being on some chill.